welcome back to another RSG Lunch Stream. I'm Ranger J 1999, your host and part of the RSG crew. Glad to have everybody here. Welcome to our lunch stream. This is where we hang out with you wonderful folks for the next hour, hour and a half, however long we go. And we will answer questions. We're going to do a roster review like we always do. And then madness ensues because we have some ridiculous people here in the RSG crew. And let's introduce these knuckleheads. First of all, Dr. Finn, medicine woman, the troll extraordinaire is here.
What up, bruh?
What up, bruh? What's going on with you, bruh?
Nothing much, bruh. How about you, bruh?
Oh, God, I'm starting this already. Also joining us, he will be scooping up your questions, and if you do have questions, go ahead and put those in there. Make sure you put question in front of your statement so we know that it is actual questions to help us identify and get those scooped up. We've got Mr. Gingivitis himself, Stanley Red here.
Hey, I'm tired.
You sound tired. Also joining us, of course, Grim the Mechanic.
How's it going?
Hey. Also joining us from across the pond is the one and only Mike Hunt.
Good evening.
Okay. Quick, to the point. I like it. And then we also have two other guests. We have, of course, part of the RSG crew. We've got the big deal himself, the French tickler, the government Wi-Fi stealer, the chicken chaser, the brand Gandalf, the beardless one, Grande Pappy Patron.
Bro. It's Lord Grande Verga Patron coming at you with another lunchtime stream that I had nothing to do with, but will take all the credit for.
This is true.
Can I say that I love that? Bruh.
Sounds like a French Fat Albert. Hey,
Hey, bruh.
hey, bruh. And then last but not least, Xylo Takedown is here.
Oh, that's nasty, bro.
It is nasty.
What's up, guys?
We're with my apprentice who is watching cartoons.
Shrek today, he needed a break from Clone Wars. I was kind of like forced it on him, I feel like.
Wrong. He needs to learn the value of the dark side. Clone Wars it is.
Your apprentice said bruh today, bro.
Oh, good. All right. Go ahead and get your question real quick. If you haven't already, give us a thumbs up on the video. Helps spread our content out into the YouTube world. If you haven't subscribed already, what are you waiting for? Obviously, you love all the live streaming that we do, and we do a ton of it. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Then you can hit the notifications to know when we're streaming all the time. We're going to do the lunch stream today. I am going to do a very long Battlefront 2 stream today. Here in a little bit. Also, we've got other live streams that we do. We've got the Jedi Academy. We had the Wednesday night show, which we did yesterday. We've got Dungeons and Dragons. Tuesdays, we do Borderlands or whatever game that they decide to play that night. So we got a lot of stuff happening. So if you want to know when we're streaming and what we're streaming, the best way to do that is just to have that subscription filled out. We also have fun stuff for you guys if you want to donate to anything we're doing here. We've got the super chat function while we're live that you can just donate whatever and make a funny comment, stuff like that. If you'd like to become a YouTube sponsor, you can, $4.99 a month. We have our Patreon set up. If you'd like to become a Patreon sponsor, we got from $5 to $25 or higher. You can look in there. We got all kinds of cool rewards for each of our Patreon sponsors, who we're very, very appreciative of. Help keep us going and doing all the streaming that we're doing. And then we got the ACS stuff, which we will get into the end of the stream. That being said, we got a roster review like we always do. Let's get into it. Today we are doing Interi from Dark Lord's Empire. That name sounds familiar. Oh, that's the Assassin's guy. His name that fought Dritz to Orton and all those books like
Dark Lord's in the house.
Oh my God! Well, Grande will
knew that was coming. You knew that was coming.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, if you're not a Dark Lord, you just don't know how great.
You know what's also coming, Grande? You're doing the roster review today. Well, I'll tell you what he wants, and you can do the review.
Yeah.
You've been skipping out on all the other ones for
That's
Dark
right.
Lord. I think it's about high time that they see their leader show them how they're supposed to do the roster review.
Let me just tell you, Dark Lords is like a Portuguese man of war. There really isn't like a, like hive mind. It's all about, all of us working together. There's not like one dude in charge. It's definitely not Grande Patron. Jeez Louise. I hope they don't think it's me anyway.
Portuguese man of war?
Yeah.
Dark Lords is Saintly, how do you feel about your guild being compared to a Portuguese man of war?
Whatever.
I heard it
I
went
thought
into
you would be more
liquidation
excited.
and
He
Wells
chose
Fargo
a sea
snapped it up.
animal, Mr. Saintly the Seaman.
Yeah, you are backdoor, buddy.
So let me tell you why I equate it to a Portuguese man of war. In a Portuguese man of war, any cell within inside the Portuguese man of war's body can either become a stinging tine cell, or can become part of the nervous system and become part of the brain. So the cells can realign themselves in any order. That's how I'm saying that it's like that. It's basically anybody that's in Dark Lords, given enough energy and effort, can do any part of this organization that they want to. Thanks for letting me have a great spot and plug Dark Lords. I definitely
That's one of the
appreciate
most
it, guys.
convoluted,
And-
complicated, and nonsensical answers
Well,
I've
no,
ever
it's
heard.
Is that
perfect
why
because
he
he just gave a
realigned
roadmap.
Saints?
He gave a roadmap on how Dark Lords can overthrow Grande.
Become
All of
cells.
you are cells that can overthrow Grande.
Yes.
There you go.
Reject the virus.
By all means, please do. It's totally reject the virus. Oh my god. Okay, so what does Interi want?
Hugs.
All right. So, and Terry wants to look at his mods, his arena, and his ship, so he can take number one in both of them consistently. He said he's been struggling in ships to take number one and potential Zetas. So we're looking at Squeets, mods, and Zetas.
He's doing pretty well in arena. I mean, he's running one of the great teams in arena right now.
Needs to get those folks
He
to
just said
the
it's an
12.
issue with consistency. So what can he do in order to maybe tweak his squad a little?
Does he
So
have
if we
Zeta
look-
on Jolie?
I'm just going to go look at his characters for a minute and look at Jedi. And because I think he can make one easy swap out. Hermit Yoda. He really needs to finish up Hermit Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
I think finishing up Hermit Yoda would really help him out. I'm going to tell you, multiple times I've been able to compete against the top squads if I actually take out GK and put in Hermit Yoda. Just because it becomes not a mirror match. I mean, mirror matches come down to who's got more gear, who's got the better mods. And I don't like those type of matchups. I want to, if someone, my idea of winning an arena is not, oh, look, that guy has rock. How do I beat him? I'll just bring a bigger rock. And if I bring a bigger rock, then I'll beat him. No, I like to actually do something mildly different, which is bring in something else and actually turn this into paper, rock, scissors. So a lot of times what I do is I swap out GK for Hermit Yoda because it gives me an additional heal. And it gives me, and over time, if the match lasts 3 or 4 minutes, all of a sudden I'm getting a call-in assist much more frequently with Hermit Yoda. So that's what I do. Anyway, that's one thing that I would look.
His Hermit Yoda is
Yeah, I know.
5-star Gear 6, and
I saw it. So we got a lot of work to do on old Mr. Hermit Yoda before he can make it into arena. But definitely farming Hermit Yoda would be the way to go. Other than that, I would say you need to put some gear on GK. We're running GK at gear 8.
And Bastila.
Right. But at least they're gear 11. I'm looking at the gear. I'm sitting there looking at the gear 8 going. How do we do better? The first thing that comes to my mind is let's at least get them to gear 11, right? If we get them to gear 11, at least you were running gear 11s versus gear 12s, potentially, not gear 11s versus gear 8. It doesn't seem to work very well that way. Besides that, on the mods, in this team, I would probably say Hermit Yoda goes so freaking much. I don't know if he really needs that much speed. Not Hermit Yoda. Grandmaster Yoda needs that much speed. And so we probably would want to lower his speeds and put those speeds on other people, potentially. You got some good mods on him. Almost everything has speed secondaries, and it's double-digit speed secondaries on 3 out of the 5. So that's pretty good. But you might consider swapping some of that over to somebody like Revan and making Revan faster. You've already got some pretty good speeds on him. He's got all double-digit speeds on him. Let's look at Jolie and let's look at Bastila for their mods. Jolie running all health and defense around the J with a speed arrow. That makes sense. We got a lot of speed on him. One thing to realize about Jolie is the more tenacity you put on him, he also gets crit avoidance from that tenacity. So you probably want to be looking at mods that have secondary tenacities as well. You got a few on there with secondary tenacities, but you might want to look for a couple more. The next one is Bastila that we still need to look at for the mods. Bastila, we want two things, right? Lots of potency and lots of speed, which means that potentially at some point we want to look at gaining some more speed. Double-digit speed mods, we've got them in every location of the 5 except for one. So and it's a cross. So we might want to look at potentially like a potency cross or something, and potentially changing out that crit chance because under Revan they get crit chance. So crit chance is not really our problem here. Our problem is let's look at maybe getting a little bit more potency. So that's what I would look at for mods on his arena team and how to fix his arena team. I'm having Daddy Mush Brain. So the next thing was ships. Is that right?
Correct.
So let's look at his ships. Somebody want to go in game and see how he's doing. First thing we want to look at with ships is what still needs to be farmed that we don't have farmed. It looks like you're working on Houndstooth. We got a 5-star Houndstooth. That's good. Or we probably need to continue to work on stuff like Podamrin and Plo Koon. As far as their ships are concerned, still work on Sunfac, still work on First Order Special Forces TIE Fighter. These are all ships, and there are, and let's see, are all the ships in the game unlocked? We have 39 ships. I think that puts us at all the ships in the game unlocked, but I'm not sure if that's true. 39, yeah. So he's got all the ships in the game unlocked. So we're good as far as having them all unlocked. We just need to finish off the stars on a couple of them. And the same thing is true with finish off stars on Endurance and Home 1 and get that last star for Chimera. I think getting the last star for Chimera will also help. If we did a sort by Rebel ships, do we have all the Rebel ships ready to go? And we do. We have all of the Rebel ships ready to go. We just need to finish Home 1 to 7-star, and then we can get Chimera 7-star. So I think that's really our deal. I would probably, the next time that event comes around, I don't know how close you are in theory, but I would probably look at maybe even doing a couple of refreshes on that if you're close to get that one done. So that way you're ready for Chimera when it comes back.
He's in Fleet right now. He's ranked 12, and he's running Tarkin lead with Biggs, Imperial TIE Fighter, and TIE Silencer in the starting lineup.
So he's running an old school lineup a little bit. Sounds like sort of.
Also, in the process of doing that, I found a bug.
What's that?
So if you have your keyboard on your iPhone set to Bitmoji as your keyboard, right? So if you're trying to get like those special images and stuff, and you try to go to the ally thing and type in the ally code, it doesn't let you switch your keyboard to the number screen, and you can't type in Bitmojis into the ally search. I tried.
Why
it doesn't really
did you feel the need to tell us that unnecessary information, Finn?
Because it's a bug, so don't go into the allies. It's a PSA. Don't go into the allies screen and try to find people on ally codes if your keyboard is set to the Bitmoji. You have to go into your chat and then switch your keyboard, and then you can go in there and type the numbers. It's a PSA. Yeah, the more you know.
All right. Anything else we need to look at, or?
Yeah, mods.
I know. I have to make a phone call. So can y'all take over for a minute?
Oh, look! Grande is leaving us with another Dark Souls roster review.
I'm not trying to leave you.
Here
I'm sorry.
we go again.
All right.
Sorry.
He's not trying. He is leaving us.
Yeah,
no trying about
There's no
it.
trying about do or do not. There is no try.
All right. So we went over ships. So let's go ahead and take a look at his mods now. So I'm going to his mod screen, and so I'm going to go by filters and filter by his speed secondaries. And looking at his speed secondaries, they are scattered. I'm seeing BB-8 and Bastila is fine, but I'm seeing BB-8. I'm seeing R2 and Dooku and Scavenger Ray. You have your mods scattered quite a bit, so that may be part of the issue as well. Did Grande? I might have missed it if he did. Did he talk about the modding of his Revan team?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, so he said about speed on Revan instead of the offense set, right? Or no?
He said that he needed to do some. I have to go back and listen to what he was saying. He was saying it so fast. He said that I think it was Grandmaster Yoda didn't need to be as fast. He could probably go more speed on Revan.
That one I heard. I didn't hear. Yeah, so really quick then, just to talk about it. Revan needs a lot of speed. You need him to go early. And you can focus offense on him. And you have a decent set of plus 100 speed on your offense set. The problem is sometimes that can be problematic. Faster Revans tend to be a little bit better. And you have a lot of good speed mods that are kind of sitting around. And you should be able to get a much better speed on your Revan, potentially. So I'm looking at your mods, and you have like a 19 speed cross on your BB-8. You have a 17 speed cross that you took to 6E on your R2. You have a 16 speed cross also. That's a potency primary on your Jedi Training Ray. You have a 17 speed circle on Scavenger Ray. You have a 17 speed level 12 mod on Dooku. That's a circle. You have a lot of mods here that have a lot of potential. You have a purple 4 circle sitting on Resistance Trooper. I think you would benefit a lot from remodding and focusing a little bit more. I don't know how much of this was based on slicing. Slicing has kind of changed a lot of things on how the modding is done. And I'm seeing that you have a lot of gold mods, which is good. You don't have a lot of the typical things I look for, which are the purple 3s, blue 3s, and purple 3s. You have a few blue 3s. You have purple 3s, which are fine. Purple 3s can be done later. You have one purple 4, which may have been done recently. So overall, your mods you have good mods. I think you need to refocus them specifically for your arena team. I see Grande is back. Grande, for Revan, he currently is running an offense set that has decent speed secondary. He has plus 100, but his mods are very scattered. Would you recommend that he switch to a speed set on Revan instead and get him faster?
Oh yeah, I mean if we're trying to, play the speed game in arena, we need our best mods on our arena team as much as we possibly can. Now he may be using mod loadouts, and he may be switching and swapping mods around, but for the most part, we want our best mods always on our arena team, if at all possible, especially if we're having trouble in arena. And, arena is basic. First and foremost, arena is a speed game, except for certain characters. Grandmaster Yoda would be one that goes all the freaking time. So I would tell you that potentially Grandmaster Yoda does not need as much speed and needs more offense and more crit damage under a Revan lead. But besides that one, I'm going to say everybody else on that team, save GK, probably needs speed. GK potentially could serve well with crit avoidance. He could serve well with a protection arrow. He could serve well with a bunch of protection and a bunch of defense on that particular team.
But he needs the gear on Kenobi first.
He needs the gear. Like at this point, we're running gear 8 in arena is not a great choice, right? Mm-hmm. We need to get up to gear 10 or gear 11 at least. I know it's a lot of Carbantes. I know it's a lot of stun guns. I know it's a lot of crap for GK, but we need to rock and roll with Mr. General Kenobi. Get him up there.
Mm-hmm.
For the foreseeable future, that is his arena team, right? If we look at his roster, that's the majority of his gear 11s and gear 12s, which means for the foreseeable future, he's running Jedis, right? Is that how you see it?
Yeah.
I don't see it. We're not switching to a Sith team when Darkside Revan comes. We don't have a Sith team to switch to right now. So I would say that's what we're doing.
Yeah. Okay. So mods, you have some work that you can do there. You did a good job on the slicing aspect. Lots of 5As, very few 6Es. There's not a lot of purple 4s or blue 3s lying around, which means it looks like you've sliced the correct mods here. And so overall, nice job on getting your mods. Now it's going to be focusing them on your particular teams and getting them modded correctly. No, and this is common, so I just want to throw this out there. A lot of people slice up a bunch of mods first before they start to remod particular characters. But always try to keep your arena team modded the best. If you don't mod your other teams in territory wars or something, for example, right? It's not as big a deal if you're waiting to complete more mod slicing and all of that to get to 5A, so then you can have your mods more complete before you have to remod like 8 times because you keep getting better and better mods. But your arena team, that one you always want to keep as the top, because not only will it be for arena, right, which is one of the things you wanted us to look at, but the other part is in territory wars, you're always going to get that benefit too. So keeping your arena team maxed out serves a dual purpose with your mods. So I would say start looking at your mods, figuring out how you want to remod. You should be able to gain a lot of speed on your Revan just by the looks of this and what mods you currently have on Revan. You should get a really, really nice bonus on speed for Revan.
Rule of thumb, I know we've talked about this before, but rule of thumb that I personally have been using on my account is I mod probably close to 20 mods to A mods before I level 1 to a 6E. 20 to 1. That's about where I'm at on modding. Just because I want those looks. I want looks at 20 mods, 20 new mods at 5A before I take one mod to 6E. And you'd be surprised. You'll get a mod that's down there that's a C mod or even a D mod, and you got the mod slicing mats to level it up in a Sith raid, and you hadn't really thought about it, so you go down there and you level a couple, and all of a sudden something that's really nice comes up that you wouldn't have even thought about that was a D mod previously.
Yep. I think I end up at that same ratio, but really I just do it based on whenever I need a particular primary to be boosted. I just look for whenever I need. So really, I've done a lot of crit avoidance arrows because I've been using those a little bit more. I've done some offense primaries because I've been trying to boost offense. But it's 6A or 6E. Remember, once you do that, they're restricted to your Gear 12 characters. So it may not even be in your best interest to do it because then you get it stuck only to a small fraction of your collection. So 6E is one of those shinies that can easily distract you. So I mean, 20 to 1, I like those. I like that as kind of a general rule of thumb. But you may not even need that, to be honest, just depending on how many Gear 12s and everything you have. And looking at your roster, you have let me see how many Gear 12s you have. You have a total of 11 Gear 12s. So you're restricting any of your 6E mods only to those 11 characters. So you may be better off just leaving them at 5A for now so you don't kind of get them stuck where you may not be able to use them. Because you never know what they're going to throw at you. So yeah, but I think you've done a really good job with getting your mods now. Now we can help you focus on putting them on the right characters. Okay.
All right.
Last thing is the Zetas. Where he should put his next Zetas.
Mike, you want to look at the Zetas? If you're not driving, you're always really good with the Zetas.
Yeah. Hang on.
So I can tell you what he has, Mike, and if that'll help.
Go on then.
Okay, so he has triple Zeta on Jedi Knight Revan. He has double Zeta on Asajj Ventress. He has double Zeta on BB-8. He has Emperor Palpatine lead. He has a unique on Veers. What was that?
He's in the chat now.
Oh, he's in the chat. Perfect.
Yeah, we're looking at the his mod. I got it on the screen now.
All right. So he has triple Zeta Revan, double Zeta Ventress, double Zeta BB-8, leader on Palpatine, unique on Veers. He has the special of Grandmaster Yoda. He has Jolee. He has R2 Number Crunch, and he has Jedi Training Ray leader.
Well, it's time to use your next Zeta on Cup.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. The territory war is coming up. You have one more. You have like 1 day in order to get him Zeta for the next.
Don't do that.
I know.
Don't do that.
Cup doesn't have a Zeta.
I was being ironical, Grande. See what happens when he's not here for days?
I love this. I'm not here for days. It was 1 day. We were on a break.
No, Grande, you haven't been here for a while.
Grande. Okay. So looking at those, Mike, any in particular that stand out to you as Zetas he should work on?
A lot of ways
If I'm
he could
looking at the
go.
right account now, he
And
doesn't
Terry?
have a Thrawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have Thrawn Zetas.
Nope.
He does not.
No, so that would be
Or
one that
Han.
I thought. Well, there you go.
CLS.
There's your winners then.
Well,
So-
so Thrawn is at least gear 12. CLS is gear 9.
I'm just saying
and-
the ones that just stick out to me, regardless of gear or not. I'm just saying.
Gotcha. Okay, you're just saying in general. Okay,
Mhm.
I gotcha.
Where's his Veers? Is he
His
working
Veers
on
is gear 11. Veers does have a Zeta.
Right. Okay. Oh yeah.
Not
Yeah.
Han Solo.
Yeah.
Han Solo does not, but he's also gear 9.
9.
Yeah, he needs
See-
a bayonet. Yeah.
You see, but he's gear 9. He's 7-star, so
Yeah, I
he's
like
going
Thrawn.
to be developing.
Yeah,
And
if he
he's
works
still
on him,
gonna-
then that makes sense.
Yeah. So.
Thrawn,
same-
he is also running Tarkin lead in ship, so he's not using Chimera.
But
Would
you
you
still-
want?
Yeah, you still want that though.
I don't know if you want it anymore.
I God crack. Thrawn
Because he
saves
ends
amazing.
up hurting himself against Traya. If you face Traya teams and you put in Thrawn counterattacks and hurts himself because of Traya's lead.
I don't know.
Well, he does already have 2 Empire Zetas, so I mean, you could look to do something else to like stretch out your roster a little more. But
Yeah, that's where I would go.
Evan Flow is a great Zeta though. It was one of my first few Zetas, and it does give his mechanics a little more of a boost. But it's not a must-have either. So
Yeah, I think I would
just-
skip Thrawn for now.
I'm just looking through his roster. I see he's got a 7-star Visas Mar as well. I mean,
No.
she's gear level 8 at the moment, but if he's going to develop her, she would be a good.
He also has a 7-star Wampa.
Wampa is a good one. I mean,
Yeah,
you
I
can
just
kind
did
of
it,
plug in
man.
stuff,
Does
you
he
know?
hit hard? Oh,
Well,
that stuff's
so,
I was in the
let's-
take yesterday. I'm like 240,000, 240,000. I'm like, wee.
So let's look at some of the factions that he has, right? So he has his double Zeta Ventress, right? So let's look at his rest of his Night
He
Sisters.
could finish up my
Um,
sisters. He could
His
go
Talzin
unique.
is 7-star, but gear 8. So
Mm,
Talzin
yeah,
unique
that's enough.
is one that he can get, and that would round out his entire Night
I
Sisters
got a winner
squad.
for him.
Oh,
Mhm.
there we go. Bosk. There you go. I like
Bosk.
Boss,
Yeah, Houndstooth.
Boss
I'm sure he's
lead.
running Houndstooth,
Boss
right?
lead. He's
Yep.
got a 7-star gear 9 at the moment. Boss.
But yeah,
Bosk.
but
And he does
That
have
would-
7-star Dengar, Greedo, 88, and Boba Fett.
that
They're
would be
just lower in
nice.
gear.
Nice.
He has a
Yep.
gear 9 Boba Fett, a gear 10 88, a gear 9 Bosk, gear 9 Greedo, and gear 8 Dengar. So he has the team.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
just needs to gear them up. It really does look like his main problem is just gear. Everywhere we're looking, he has like 7-star, but it's just missing gear. So
I would
once he gets those
assume
gears up, it's solid.
it's all because he's been working on his stars, which is fantastic. I've just seen he's got a 7-star Aura Scene.
Yeah,
Woo!
he does.
Yeah,
His
that's nice.
his starring is awesome. I love the fact that he has so many 7-stars and 6-stars. Like he's building all of the stars, which is usually the biggest hindrance. Gear you can always kind of push up, especially with his arena rank. Like if you really needed to in a pinch, you could buy gear from the shipments and whatever else you need in order to push your gear up. So his position is definitely really, really good. I do like Boss Lead. I think
Yeah.
that would be a good one.
I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
one.
You get so much out of that,
the second?
too.
What about the second Zeta on R2D2?
Number. He's got. What has he got?
He has number crunch. He doesn't have combat analysis. You could do that, but that one has. I mean, it's
It's
okay.
Get
limited.
Aura Sing done. I mean, Aura Sing is hard to do, man.
yeah. He has Aura Sing at 7-star. Very nice job.
I think
But then
Boss
he- but
Lead's
then
the
he-
best bet though, right? Because you get Chewie, you get Houndstooth's boost, and then you kind of give a huge bit of viability
Boost
to
to
that
your
bounty hunter faction that you have. You know,
And
even at
into
the
his
D level.
ships. And he uses that ships every day, or he could.
Yeah,
Right?
Houndstooth.
And
Zeta.
Bosk is
I
a
mean, he got it
scoundrel as
by a
well.
star. Yeah.
Even at that star level with the Zeta, it gives it a nice little boost. So
I agree. I think that would be his next one. I think Bosk and working on his bounty hunters is
Also, did we
there.
get Chewie? Where did we get Chewie? Did we get 7-star
I don't
Chewie?
think he has Chewie. Let me double check.
we
but I
got.
didn't
We got. He did. We got a 5-star Chewie.
We have a 5-star,
So
but not a
Zeta-
7.
So Zeta and Bosk would make it when the next time that thing comes around.
yeah,
It should be on Easy Street then, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he's got a 7-star gear 8 Dengar, so he's already in place for
Mhm.
that.
So
Yeah,
effectively, the one Zeta would make it when Chewbacca comes around, which could be. I mean, it could be in a month we get Chewbacca again.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility that sometime the end of December, right?
Yeah, with the introduction of OT Millennium Falcon, because we're thinking they have to do something with the original trilogy and the Millennium Falcon, right? So it would make sense to return Chewie at the same time as the new Legendary.
Yeah.
Zeta Boss,
probably the
I like
pilot
that.
too.
And then we could run Houndstooth in our Spleet arena.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great starting lineup. Shit.
Because he has a 5-star. You could tell he's working on Houndstooth already because he has a 5-star Houndstooth.
Mhm.
So he's farming the shards for Houndstooth. Yeah, that's the ticket right there. That's the ticket. Good call, Mike. Mike Hunt for the win.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think Bosk definitely would be your first, and then maybe your second would be like a Han Solo or something like that.
Yeah.
That would your roster together. Work on your Night Sisters. Mother Talzin Unique is another potential one that would get your Night Sisters all squared away. But Bosk definitely your first one. I think would be your next.
All right. And if you have any more questions, and Terry, all you need to do is get with us and.
Bug Grande. He knows how to bug me
Bug
like
Grande,
6 ways
there you
from
go.
6 ways from
Yeah,
Sunday.
well, I was going to offer, we have Discord and stuff, but yeah, Bug Grande. All right, now it is time for the questions, and we have no events to do today. There is nothing. I haven't seen this in forever. There is nothing in the events.
Yeah.
The event table is empty.
It's so
Literally, you
weird.
just see the background is empty.
Holy crap! When was the last time that happened?
I don't even remember. Like I'm
1972.
Okay.
1972.
In the year 25.
CG's Christmas present. Surprise, motherfucker.
Yeah. No events and no guild events. Woohoo!
They really.
I saw a meme.
I know they won't, but I would really love if they just put out a troll post that just said, "We heard your complaints about having too much to do in the game and too much of a time sink, so we got rid of all the events. Happy Christmas."
I saw a meme that
Could
said,
you even imagine? The wig out, dude.
I saw the funniest meme on Discord today. It was like, in celebration of Clone Wars month, you get no events on the second to last day of the month.
Oh, okay. And to clarify, I just saw his message really quick, and Terry was saying that he was using JTR in his arena team for a while, so that's why we were seeing so much JTR, BB-8, R2, and stuff mods at the top. So yeah, I think he just sliced up. So we just have to go back and kind of change your mods up for your Revan team now, and that should put you solid in arena. Just to follow up.
Miss Farquhar, question: is it possible to die from a hangover? Because I'm pretty sure I am dying, bruh.
Dang.
Well, bruh, you're not going to die from the hangover itself,
Not,
but if you walk into the street and kind of lay down because your hangover hurts too much, then you might die, bro.
That's telly, bruh.
Drink a lot of fluids, bruh.
You know the sad part, drinking more alcohol does help with the hangover, but just makes it worse the next time it comes.
Well, the best thing is drink a shit. Here's a tip: if you drink a lot before you go to bed, take a couple aspirin or something, drink some water, and that'll help with having such a bad hangover.
You definitely
Gatorade or Powerade help a lot because those get absorbed quicker than regular water, so it helps a lot.
And also not hanging around with Hideous at 2 a.m. will help.
Well, that's true.
All right, next question.
I really want to skip this question, but I guess I'll do it.
Hmm?
Said Ranger J 1999, question: Finn was sanely everything he wanted in a backdoor man.
He was because he made Tits happy. And Tits' happiness is all that matters. So sanely, good job in making McVenom happy by being her backdoor man. See?
Darkside Ranger J 1999, question: did CG put out Darkside BS to counter Revan after seeing their free-to-play and light spenders losing in the arena?
Well, I would say yes if she was a hard counter, but she's not. So no. I mean, hard counter means if you put her in, she is a direct counter, and you will win more times than not with Dark's version of Bastila. But if she's not, I mean, you can beat the team, but it sucks on defense, and it's not a guaranteed win. So it's not a hard counter. So my answer is no.
Well, let's let's talk about it, right? There were already multiple counters to Revan. All they did was add an additional counter. This is just like whenever regular Traya came out, they gave us regular Bastila so that you would have a direct counter for Traya. You already had multiple counters for Traya. They just gave you another one. That with 175 characters in the game, there are multiple counters to multiple teams, and they're already there. They're already there. You already have them. You just have to think outside the box, and there's more than one of them. I mean, think about TW, for example, right? If you're in a hardcore TW guild, they will call multiple counters for an individual team. They will say, this is the counter, this is the other counter, and then this is the third counter. You have hard counters and soft counters. There are multiple counters in the game, and they always bring out another one if something becomes OP. It just happens.
Ski Trooper, question, thoughts on slow tanky versions of Nest? Do you like it? In what applications? Modding targets?
I mean, it works against Revan teams. We were just talking about that, right? So, to what we were just talking about what a hard counter is versus kind of just a team that can beat another team. Hard counter is really a team that has a mechanic that counters what the opposing strategy is. The teams that we're talking about, whether it's the slow tanky Nest on a Zeta Maul Sith team, right? That's not a hard counter. It's just a team that can beat Revan. There's nothing about the mechanics that necessarily counters what Revan's team does. All it does is provide a way that your other Sith can survive, and Nest is just a super tanky character when she's repeatedly attacked that she survives. So it's just a matter of figuring out what the best combination is. Now, a slow Nest works in a team like the Zeta Maul because you're trying to just get her repeatedly hit. You don't want her to go because as soon as her turn comes, she loses the protection. So what are some other places where that mechanic may help? Phase 3 of the Sith Raid. It's not the most dominant team, but a slow Nest can help in Phase 3 of the Sith Raid because you just have the constant attacks of the lightsabers and stuff on Nest, and you can do that. Any team where basically you just want Nest to tank, and you want to protect the other team in stealth by stealthing. So that's why the Aura Singh lead is that team. So you stealth all the other bounty hunters, and then Nest is the only one left. So that's part of the success of that team.
It also depends on if you want that character to be a meat bag and just take
Exactly.
all the hits, or if you want them to actually take a turn. This is the reason why sometimes we say high tenacity Nest, and sometimes we don't care about tenacity on Nest. And it's because in one case, we're actually trying to get her to take a turn. In the other cases, we're just trying to get her to take all the damage. A good example of how we would want her to take all the damage is by putting Nest on an R2 team and doing a false taunt against Nest. You can do this all the time, right? This is the reason why that JTR team works, is because the JTR team, you have R2 false taunting on Nest all the time. The whole job of Nest is just to take the damage while everyone else gets to wail on the team.
Yeah, another one I really like too is there's that one team with just Kira, Hermit Yoda, and Nest. It can time out. It can, hit Jolie for over 100,000. Yeah, it's interesting because the stacking mechanic behind it too, because she is the last piece on that team out of the three. And I've seen the comp also with OG Han and Chewbacca, but everybody else dies except Nest because she's so tanky and she
Kira
goes
Lee
and goes.
And Kira Lee doubled all of her uniques.
She gives her that stacking mechanic too. So
yeah, I mean, let's be real. I mean, part of it is it's Kira Lee with Nest, but it's not just Nest, right? I mean, there are other teams that you can use. I mean, how is it that Thrawn Magma works, right? How is it that CLS still works? So you've got CLS teams that still make it into the top 10. And the reason why is because they shouldn't work. But the reasons why they work is because it's rebels going up against Jedi, right? I mean, hard counter. Palpatine's unique is a straight up hard counter for rebels, and especially rebels that are also Jedi. This is the reason why Ezra was only with those Revan teams for like a week. You know, everybody was telling you run Ezra. Well, let me tell you, if you have both the Rebel tag and the Jedi tag, that means you're losing 20% health every time you take a turn, right? So if you take 5 turns and don't get hit, you die to self. So these are the reasons why certain characters don't make certain teams. It's the reason why nobody's recommending, and they did in the beginning, but they don't now, why everyone was like, you should run Cassian on that team. No, you shouldn't run Cassian on that team. Not Cassian, Kanan. Kanan should not be run on that team because, again, Kanan dies to a Palpatine team because Palpatine at that point is a perfect hard counter to the Revan team. Typically, the hard counter and the soft counter are already in your roster before the new shiny comes out. They're already there. Now, the fact that you didn't gear them up, I mean, the same thing's true with ships, right? I mean, how many times have we been talking about Cassian's U-Wing, Plo Koon, Wedge Antilles? We've said, all of these ships are awesome. Why? Because all of these ships are counters to Houndstooth. And no matter what squad you're looking at, all the squads at the top have Houndstooth in them. Well, if you don't have Houndstooth for whatever reason, guess what? You're gonna be going all in on one of these counter teams, or you've got to hurry up and get a bigger rock, which means farm Bosk. All right.
Science. Next question.
26 Rogue. Question, it was mentioned earlier to swap in Hermit Yoda for GK to avoid difficult mirrors. Do you have the do or do not Zeta on Hermit Yoda? How helpful would it be?
So I have one Zeta on Yoda. I don't know which one it is. I do not think it's the do or do not.
No, it's probably the strength flows. The one that does the healing protection.
Yeah. I don't have that do or do not Zeta.
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
What he's saying is if you swap in Hermit Yoda, right? So I do not have do or do not Zeta. So I just have the strength flows Zeta. It's not. Here's the reason for it, right? The reason for it is the match lasts. Mirror matches, Revan versus Revan mirror matches last a long time, 4 minutes plus sometimes, right? Hermit Yoda does not start out as super strong. Hermit Yoda's purpose is that let's say they use that direct focus thing and they use it on Jolie and they kill Jolie and then they kill Jolie a second time. Hermit Yoda's job is to help heal Jolie so he doesn't die a second time until he gets that direct focus off of him. All right, now you got the direct focus off of him. Now Hermit Yoda's job is to sit there and put that Master's Training buff on regular Yoda, and then to put it on Revan, and then finally to put it on Bastila. And so what happens is every third or fourth turn, you're getting an AoE call-in assist. Well, nobody else is getting an AoE call-in assist like that because their GK is sitting there stunned by your Bastila. So the idea here is that you are playing a different game. Now, you still have to have Yoda, gear 11, gear 12 with some halfway decent mods on them. I mean, don't get me wrong here. It's not like you just throw it in, it's instant win. But I'm just telling you that it's different than a GK team. And you're not killing their other Yoda first, right? The mechanics are different. Because why are you not killing their other Yoda first? Because he stole stealth from your Yoda, from your Hermit Yoda, which means you're killing
like GMY's left the last piece.
You're killing GK and then you're killing Jolie, or you're killing Revan and then you're killing Jolie, or you're just killing Jolie straight up. That's how you play that match. So, regular old Yoda is gonna go to town on you because he's stealthed along with having foresight.
Before I had Jolie finished up with the Zeta and geared, I was running both Yodas with GK, Bastila, and Revan, and that was exactly the problem. Was the first turn that their Yoda went, he was stealing the health or the stealth from my Hermit, and then it just became this back and forth chasing Revan and Jolie down. And by the time I would get Jolie in a good spot to where I thought I could take him down, guess who came back to life? It's
Well,
just, it's
I
so
mean, here's
bad.
the right. But here's the deal: is the idea here is that you double kill somebody with low HP, so that way, whenever it's your turn to go up against Jolie, now you've got 2 or 3 masters trainings up, and because you've got 2 or 3 masters trainings up, it means you can spam it the next time. It also does cleanses, which means if one of your dudes got stunned by Bastila, guess what? They're not stunned anymore. So, anyway, long story longer.
Tangent Revolution question: since switching to Boss Bleed with my bounty hunters and Nest in Arena, I'm back in the top 10. Should my first Zeta go on Bosk or should I do Palpatine?
Oof. How are you in the top 10 with bounty hunters? That's impressive. There's
Must
not
be
a whole lot of people.
Younger Shard, probably.
But you know, Vancelli does it, right? So I mean, it is possible. There's a couple of older players we know that do it, but it's very hard to do. I'd have to see his roster, man. I think it depends. If he's running it in his arena, it makes sense to put the Zeta, right? Plus, if he's running it in arena, I hope he's farming Houndstooth, or he's got a 7-star Houndstooth for Ship's Arena. So then it would make sense. But I think it's dependent, right? It's dependent on what we're seeing in his shard, and it's dependent on where the rest of his roster is. It's a qualified yes in my book without seeing more information.
Well, the thing is eventually that shard's going to end up getting EP and all that stuff, and then the bounty hunters won't hold.
They will not. At some point, bounty hunters won't hold very well. Agreed. Unless the shard dies, and they're down to like 10 people climbing.
Helen X question: is Visas Mara worth gearing up and /or Zetaing? I like the character from a lore perspective, but I don't want to waste resources if it isn't great in-game. Does Visas get RSG approval?
She has less use as of late, but she's still a good character because she has a res. Her use is going to be in Territory War in particular. It's not an arena character. You can potentially use her in light side territory battles, but her main thing is going to be Territory Wars. So it's a question of, do you have a team where she can fit in that you would put on defense? Or is there one that you want to run on offense? But I can see her still working well on defense. So she is a good character, but she is a plug-and-play character. So it depends on if you have a team where you're trying to plug and play her. So
yeah, she's more of a PvE character when you think about it. She's really good in the Sith raid.
Helen X question: is the current empty event stable CG's way of fulfilling my suggested Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes Christmas ornament from last night's stream /Twitter question? Hashtag disembodied middle finger by CG.
Good job. You pissed them off, Alex.
Eric Estrella question for Ranger: what are your thoughts on the new characters that maybe need to be panic farmed for Darth Revan?
Well, they weren't dark side, so I don't know what the hell's going on. So we got those first 2 dark characters. They were dark side, right? And we're thinking, okay, here we go. Next 2 will be dark side, and then you'll need them plus something for Revan with their light side. So I have no idea.
I'm very curious what they're smoking and why they won't share.
Well, I mean, I just at this point I don't know. I'm completely at a loss of what the plan is, because sometimes you can see it, right, and you're like, oh boy, here we go. But these 2 new characters, I mean, I'm not sure. And I think this month we're getting, the theme is going to be the original trilogy, so we're not getting anything for at least 2 months until January minimum before we start seeing anything. So,
well, who knows what theme means, because this
True.
theme month was technically Clone Wars, and we got more for Old Republic than we did for Clone Wars. So
true.
So who knows what theme means anymore?
They're weird. I don't get it. I don't get why it feels like they're a little bit all over the map. And I think the reason why they're all over the map is because they're trying to do multiple things at once, right? And this is true. You have to put characters in now if you want to have them to use them in some kind of an event in 3 months, which means in 3 months, when it's KOTOR month again, or when it's dark, or when it's Sith, right? In February, we have to have all of these Sith characters and all these dark side characters come in now, so that later in 3 months we can use them to get a dark side Sith character for February, right? And so so who would you put in now that's Galactic Republic, so that in 3 months you could get a Sith character, and they would also kind of tie into KOTOR? It makes it a little bit difficult, right? So that's the reason why it's a little all over the map, is because of what's happening in 3 months.
Well, that may be it, but there's another part of it too, right? Like, I think players are feeling like everything in the past couple months in particular have felt a little bit, I don't know if this is the best word to use, but haphazard in terms of the way things have been released, right? Since Revan, we've had a little bit less communication about things that are going on. So players feel a little bit left in the dark about what the overall plan is. We had the road ahead, but it was kind of confusing. Then we had confusing based on what's actually happened in the game, that is. Then we had like this Clone Wars month that ended up having more Old Republic. I mean, everything seems kind of haphazard, right? But if you remember kind of what was initially said about this, and I can't remember, I think it was Crumb that posted something along the lines of Carrie is working to redo the layout for the next few months or something like that. And speculation was that it was based on a leak that had come out that I think most of us at some point saw. It was like an image basically saying what's coming all the way up through December. And it started with August, and August through October had basically been right on the money. And so did they suddenly decide to change their plans because of that leak? And if they did, what they've essentially done is made the players feel like everything is kind of being released in a haphazard, kind of rushed, unorganized type of way, which in one sense to me feels better if that's the reason. Because if they organize it this way and is this haphazard, it's a little bit concerning. Because none of the release really makes sense in the way that they've handled it lately. So I'm hoping there's another reason behind it. If it is because they wanted to change it because there was the leaked information that just happened to be correct and whatnot, and that's why they're changing it, fine. I can accept that as what they're trying to do. I don't know why it matters so much, but if that's the reason they did it, they did it. If this was just the regular release cadence and this is for something for 3 months, I think better planning could have gone into how these things are released, because there is no coherency. It seems so scattered. Like, even when we were getting Revan, we could see that they were doing Old Republic. That was like the main focus, and we were getting other little things here and there, but the Old Republic was the focus. This was supposed to be Clone Wars month, and during Clone Wars month, what they gave us was helmets on the clones, a post saying that we're not getting a Grievous rework, and 4 Old Republic characters. Like, I don't know how that makes a Clone Wars month. So something is off, I think, in terms of what they're planning, and I wish that we had more communication about what was going on.
Well, I blame Finn, because he's okay with it just being the clone helmets.
I hate the clone helmets. Rex doesn't need a helmet. Damn it, Rex should not have a helmet. I want to see his old, bald, shiny head.
I'm going to tell you, because we have more Clone Wars cartoons coming, my guess is they may have had some stuff ready to go, and they had to put a pause on it, and they couldn't do it because they were told, well, we're kind of modifying those characters a little bit, right? So again, we've talked about this before. LucasArts, Disney, Google, Apple, and EA are all their bosses, right? Which means they have 5 different entities potentially telling them what to do in the game, along with, I'm sure, internal divisions inside the studio about what direction needs to go where at what time. I mean, we've talked about this before, right? You could easily have an accountant saying we need to do more events like Revan, and you have a developer saying I really like to work on my clone team because I feel like we need to flesh out the clones a little bit more, or I need to flesh out can we flesh out the Geonosians a little bit more?
Well, that's the thing though, is the development crew doesn't have the say on what they do.
Exactly. So you got 5 different companies vying for what they want, plus you have internal divisions. So that's why things look a little schizophrenic. And you have this funky cadence where they will not put out a legendary or a heroic until a character's gone free to play, at least for a small period of time, which means you have to put stuff in the game 3 months before you want to use it. 90 days. You got to put it in 90 days early. So that means if they're making a big push for February and Sith month, and they're going to release Darkseid Revan as a Sith, that means they've got to throw all this stuff now for another Journey-style event today, which makes it all kinds of schizophrenic. Plus, there's all kinds of problems with clones in general, right? We've talked about this before. We've talked about that if they put Rex is such a great leader. If they put really good clones in, clones will be so OP that you'll have every clone going like Yoda, like Grandmaster Yoda. We don't even think about this. People were using Rex lead without any other clones. The turn meter generation to clones with Rex lead is double what it is for every other character. Can you imagine what it would look like if we had some decent clones to go with Rex?
And something else. So Thane mentioned in the chat that they never said it was Clone Wars month. And he's right. They never specifically said this was Clone Wars month or anything. And in the road ahead, they mentioned Old Republic and Old Trilogy. But what they did say, and I'm quoting it here, it's been 10 years since the release of Clone Wars animated series, and we're celebrating with a whole bunch of special events. Their whole bunch of special events included 2, which was changing territory wars for this month and the release of Anakin's ship. That's 2 events. So there weren't a whole bunch of events. There weren't any special events really that were doing anything with Clone Wars.
Didn't we get a new event on the event table?
I don't think anything related to Clone. That was just the Anakin Starship. I don't think we got anything else.
We didn't get a special clone event now, or a special Clone Wars event.
It's
unfortunate.
Believe so.
So basically, they said that, look, they celebrated Clone Wars month like how I celebrate Hanukkah, right? That's basically how they did it. It's okay. It happens, I guess. They basically said, here it is. It's nice. That's cool.
And not to mention, they said that we're not getting Grievous this quarter. It was kind of a slap in the face of everything Clone Wars related, I have to say. They took away Rex's bald head. They said no Grievous rework. This whole month has been awful for Clone Wars for me. It's awful.
I don't disagree with you. They could have done more, right? But how much more?
I think Grievous reworking Capital Ship. I think we were all expecting that.
I think it's a matter of degrees, man. Here's the deal. I don't think they know what to do with capital ships, right? Right now, we're in this perfect kind of yin and yang with capital ships, right? Where we have two light side, 2 dark side capital ships. We have we have a couple different factions. My personal guess is the way to strike balance is they're going to have to run a second light side and a second dark side capital ship at the same time. And here's the other thing. If we run it like that, it's going to totally break TW, right? You get a new light side capital ship or a new dark side capital ship, and it breaks TW. It breaks it bad. It effectively means everyone goes T1, T2 because they've got so much firepower on offense. It doesn't matter what gets put on defense; they can blow through it. So it completely.
You mean kind of like Mason Cup already are?
No. But here's the deal with Mason Cup, though. Not too many people have Cup, and if you've actually got a decent Cup and you throw him in, he still really sucks. So it's not like Mason Cup. It's very different. If you put one capital ship on defense, and you have 3 tries to beat it on offense, or you have 4 tries because you have 4 capital ships. Or even worse yet, they release a light side and a dark side capital ship, and so now you have 5 tries. It's 5-1. Someone please show me a ship's team that survives being attacked 5 times.
Grande, you're talking about the high end, though. Just keep that in mind.
No, it's not. But I get it. Here's the deal. I'm talking about attacking even with a 4-star ship and some 3-star pilots, right? What I'm saying is it's unbalanced. And they're gonna use it with a character that most of us already have at 7-star, right? Whether that's gonna be something like Holdo or Grievous or whatever, and we're probably gonna end up getting that capital ship at 4-star, 5-star, and it's enough to where you could spread your ships around to where you could put some 3 stars and reinforcements and stuff, where you could still end up with 5 or 6 highly viable teams. right?
I'm not saying you couldn't, but what I'm saying is even right now, you have a 3-to-1 attack to defense ratio, and it only really occurs at the higher end where you're able to always maximize. I can tell you, we have people in our guild right now that will put one strong team on defense, and even given 3, even if we add another capital ship and given 4, they don't have the teams that could take down a strong counter. Like if you're facing a meta team, if you're facing even the old meta of Biggs, TIE Fighter, and TIE Advance, or if you're facing the Geos, or if you're facing the like the WTF team with Houndstooth and all of that, right? No matter how many attacks you're giving them, the rest of their ships are just not developed. You can add capital ships, but they don't have another team that can really do a large amount of damage. And so you can give them a 4th squad, a 5th squad, a 6th squad. It's not going to matter. They're going in with trash squads, and they're going to get annihilated. So this is really going to imbalance the top. I'm not disagreeing that it's going to imbalance the top.
Look,
But
look, the guild I'm in is 137 million.
You say 137 million, but you know it's more top heavy.
Well, it's all and
it's
again,
not evenly
right?
distributed around the average.
And again, you know, the guys that are at 2 million, 2.5 million GP are highly motivated. That's why we picked them up, right?
Right.
I mean, it's a highly motivated 2.5 million. But the thing I'm saying though is that right now the reason why I think we haven't seen another capital ship is because it's because if they change it, they don't know how to fix it, right? Because and here's what they're also concerned about. They're concerned that if they do change it, right? If they do change it, then everybody's upset because now TW changed. And they're upset because now Grand Arena changed, right? And so all of a sudden, this brand new event that came out and this other thing, now they get people they get people who are upset when they have if they're not adding capital ships, and then the moment they add capital ships, everyone's upset because it broke something else. I'm just saying some of these things can't happen in a vacuum.
No, you're right. The one thing I'll add to that though, if they want to add capital ships, now is the time to do it before Grand Arena is released. Because I think Territory War, the strategy is always changing anyways. I think if they add the capital ships, yeah, it's going to make it a little bit different and people are going to go the top a little bit more and maybe they'll get stifled more with characters or whatever it is. But Territory Wars would be the only thing. And Grand Arena, you still have time to tweak because it hasn't been released. If they release Grand Arena and then they release the capital ships and it breaks the way that the strategy works, you're going to have bigger issues than what you're having currently. So I think now is the time, if any, for them to release capital ships. But this goes back to something we've said for a while. The whole concept of ships is neat, but the problem is it never really worked. They tied ships to characters, so you can't freely release ships. You have to tie them to a character, which was always going to be a hindrance to the way Fleet was. Then they shifted from 5 to 3 in the starting lineup, which effectively made a full squad go from 9 to 7, which means now you need less ships in order to fill up a capital ship. So now we're at the point where, like, yeah, we have all these extra ships. We need another capital ship. Otherwise, a bunch of ships are wasted. So they've kind of screwed themselves a little bit with it.
I totally agree with you. If you wanted me to be able to play this game the way I wanted to play it, it would mean that I should be able to put Poe Dameron and Finn into a first order TIE fighter if I want to. Because in the movie that really happened. And maybe it gave me maybe the combination of these characters in this ship is super OP versus me putting in, you know, just first order TIE fighter pilot. But they never gave us that option. It's the same thing too. I mean, ships is so weird, you know, because I mean, you know, Jin is a pilot on Cassian's U-Wing. She was not a pilot on his U-Wing. She was a freaking passenger on his U-Wing. Let's be real clear about that. And then Bodhi Rook, who is a pilot, didn't even get a ship in the game. I mean, it's really and when they had the chance, Ships 2.0, they could have decoupled pilots from ships and done. And I was very surprised that with Ships 2.0, we did not end up with decoupling. Maybe that comes in Ships 3.0 that we end up with decoupling between pilots and characters. But I really think decoupling fixes the problem. It also gets to a point where if you put one pilot in one ship, you get different attributes of the ship versus putting another pilot in another ship. And if we're trying to go back to, we are effectively playing with Kenner toys. Last time I checked, you could stick whatever Kenner-looking 6-inch doll in whatever ship you got. You weren't stuck with the one that came with the package.
Yeah, I think that was a suggestion we had before Ships was officially announced.
Long time ago.
Yeah,
Long
before
time
Ships
ago,
was actually
I
even announced, like before Ships release. I think our suggestion was you can put characters with ships, but do it based on faction. So, like, if you put a Jedi pilot in there, they get a particular bonus. Let's just say Jedi provide an extra 5% tenacity. But if you add the second one, it adds another 6, and the next one provides 7. So if you put 6 Jedi, you'll get more. But maybe there's a strategy to putting 1 Jedi, 1 Sith, 1 Resistance, or whatever it is, and each faction provides a bonus.
And you could end up with some really cool Easter eggs, right? You could end up with what happens when you put Finn and Poe in a first order tie. You know, you got some kind of crazy cool bonus that you didn't get otherwise. It gave you another ability called get the hell out of Dodge and fall in the sand and blow up. Whatever I mean, but you know what I'm saying, right? I mean, you could put these obscure characters together and have a combination they don't even publish them, right? And all of a sudden we figured out, we're like, oh, that makes sense in the universe somehow. Whatever. Whatever.
And then give a bonus to the pilots that you think should be on the ship. So, like, you release Anakin's ship, you can give a bonus if you put Anakin in the spot because it's his ship. But then other characters can also fit in there, and maybe we find a different strategy. Because obviously, even in Arena, we're mixing and matching a bunch of different generations of Star Wars characters. We're mixing light side and dark side. I mean, it isn't necessarily all stuck together. So we like the character and the ship more than worrying too much about the overall composition and trying to make it all of a particular generation or all part of a particular legacy within Star Wars.
And OG Lando needs to be a pilot, right? OG Lando needs to be able to fly that Millennium Falcon eventually. Yeah. And so if you threw OG Lando in there, all of a sudden you get like special ability, smooth malt liquor, and you can. I mean, you.
Well,
all right.
You know, the new Millennium Falcon will have what's his name and General Lando flying it. We still won't have a Han and Chewie that fly the freaking Falcon. So.
All right, I got way down. Sorry, Ranger.
And we got 2 donations during the entire long rant.
Yeah.
Vigilant Sentinel, $2. All the characters that have had a dark turn. Karth was betrayed by Admiral Sewell Karath. Johanne's planet was ravaged by dark Jedi. Bastila went dark side. Karth is a Mandalorian. El Canderous was Mandalorian. And then the other donation was by Thane Kyrell, $2. Grande is wrong. Mid to low, don't clear fleet.
Grande's wrong.
All right, next question.
Fine, Mark. Question. I've been on the fence on whether to pull the trigger on the plus 25% chest of crystals or wait for a better deal for Christmas. Your thoughts?
If you got the money, that's the deal you're going to get, right? I mean, I mean, honestly, that's about the same deals we normally get at Christmas time and for May the 4th. It's pretty close. So, I would pull the trigger on it if you're a spender, right? If you're free to play and you've never done it, don't start. But if you normally, drop a couple bucks in the game every once in a while, I think it's a good value. Go get a Target red card and go buy gift cards at 5% off.
Actually, Costco's a better deal right now.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Well, or Costco, but I mean, you know what I mean? You can get a gift card at a discount, and then you can buy the crystals at a discount. And so all of a sudden it turns your 25% more, into 25% more at 10% off or whatever.
That's the new math.
Well, that's not new math. That's the right math. And Grande's right, Thane Kyrell.
It's going to heat it.
John Davies. Question, will the new KOTOR Jedi be meta?
Maybe one of them. Maybe the one. Who's the bald chick? She might be meta.
The bald chick.
Wow.
What is it? Is Aura Singh's sister? The one that looks like Aura Singh's sister.
Oh,
might be the meta.
Johanny. Her new nickname is Sinead.
She's not bald, Finn or Grande. She has hair.
Asajj Ventress is the bald one.
Yes.
Whatever her name is, her Rangers. Yeah, her Heine. Yeah, her Heine might be the new meta. Her Heine might be the new meta.
Oh my god.
Hey, in fact, her Heine, right?
Juhani Heine hey, Juhani Heine ho. No question.
Oh my god.
Her Heine might be meta, but not. What's the other guy's name?
Karth.
Karth what?
Onasi.
Wait.
Karth Onasi.
Jackie Onassis. Yeah, she's
No.
definitely not going to be the meta. Jackie Onassis.
First of all, it's a dude. So let's just clarify that.
Jackie can be a male name too.
Well, you know, it is the 21st century.
Jack Onassis may not be the you know, the meta. But that other one, her Heine might be.
All right, next question.
Same Tyrell question for Finn. Have I ever told you that you and Ranger are my second favorite couple after Ouchie and Grim, aka Grumpling?
Oh my god.
The woman better, Finn.
We knew that was going to get dropped somewhere.
Oh my god.
And
First off,
Ranger,
Finger J 1999 is in full effect. Second, there's if you know me, I can't control any woman. Let's just be fair. I am scared of them. They can push me over. I am a pushover. That is the way it works. That's why Ranger can do all that stuff. I don't.
Yeah, I'm pretty badass.
Yeah, and I'm afraid about you, so.
Ranger's kind of a big deal if you guys didn't know that.
Yeah, Stanley, that's what I said. We're Finger J 1999.
Finger J 1999. Amazing.
Finger her J? What?
No, Grande! You're on a timeout. I've tolerated you today, but you're on a timeout.
This is a family program.
Go home and rethink your life. Nah, it's not a family program. You're just retarded. Go sit in the corner. Go put your head on and sit in the corner. Here, go play with this.
All right, next question.
Give him his crayons. Damn it, who took his crayons?
Eric Estrella, question for Grande Infinity. For Raid Han to hit hard, would he benefit from offense or crit damage triangle, regardless of secondary stats for heroic Sith Rival Raid?
100% crit damage.
100% crit damage.
Billy Gunn, question: how important are Omegas when we talk about pilots?
Wait, well, ship Omegas or regular Omegas? Regular Omegas and regular Zetas on the character are hugely important. It normally adds to all of the base stats, kind of as a general. Now, that being said, for most players, Omegas are still really precious, which means you place the Omega on the character because the Omega is good. Only later, when you have tons of Omegas, do you actually go in there and just Omega out all your pilots.
Nathaniel Morgan, question: does anyone who doesn't have Revan get tired of constantly remodding to play the counter game? Revan, Traya, Palp all require different teams / strats to win.
Yeah, this is why they gave us mod loadouts. Use the mod loadouts. If you reuse mod loadouts, it becomes very quick. You can do it very quickly and get really, really good at it. Use mod loadouts. Takes you 30 seconds to remod a team.
Nathaniel Morgan, question: since I'm still farming original KOTOR, these new four just feel like forced farms and anti-fun. What say you?
Anti-fun.
Agreed.
I think one of them's cool. You know, right now 2 of them are not. Darkside Bastila is cool. Whatever we said her name is, her Heine is pretty cool looking. And then the other 2, Cancer, what's his name? Carnassus?
No!
What's his name? Help me out.
God, Grande.
Cancerous Orzo.
Yes, that's it.
Hold, I gotta go in here and read. You guys are not gonna.
Canderous Ordo is his name.
Canderous Ordo. It seems kind of like a want, and then the other one, Jackie Onassis. What's his real name? Help me out here.
Karth.
Karth
Oh my
Onasi.
Karth
God.
Onasi. Karth Onasi. Both of these two are kind of like ho-hums,
You had
right?
one job, Grande. One job.
And he succeeded damn well at it. Screw up the stream.
No, that's wrong.
Distract us on the stream. That's his job, Ranger. We know that. He's done a very good job of that. Spent, what, an hour ranting about Fleet?
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
me and Val Bacon.
Now we have her Heine.
Yeah, her Heine.
So her Heine can go into the vault with Ted Danza and Scrooge McDougal and Val Bacon.
That's right.
He's doing his job. We just gave him an awful job. I blame us.
Okay, so two seem really great and two seem ho-hum right now. But I think the jury's still out. I mean, look, Zalbar and Mission and Solo, Young Han Solo, and L3 and even M3 seem super good, right? So the problem is that we didn't see them as a cohesive group. With the KOTOR characters we got before ended up being super awesome, and then even some of the solo characters we got ended up being super awesome. We had a couple duds in there, right? I'm going to say young Lando is a complete dud as a character, in my opinion. But besides young Lando, there's a use for the other ones.
Helen X, question for CG Carry Pool Boy Grande. If I make a disembodied middle finger Christmas ornament and make it really nice, pretty, and well crafted and send it to you, can you pass it along to CG Carry for me? I'd like to make amends for potentially offending CG with my Twitter post last night because you're our quote-unquote inside man.
I am so not the inside man. But if you make me a Christmas present that you want to send to CG, I'm sure they would take it. Just make it up and send it. I mean, they have their address on the website, and put it care of CG Carey. I'm sure she'd think it was funny.
26 Rogue, question, thanks guys, follow up with do or do not Zeta, wouldn't it reset strength flows Zeta so you can get master's training on all your tunes faster?
I don't disagree that it would be nice. I'm just saying I don't have it and it still works.
It only triggers when somebody dies anyways. So you would get it on maybe the reses, but again, you have to wait for somebody to die in order to do it. So it's not super common that happens. Like in raids, you can do that a little bit more. That's why I like it in particular in like phase 2, because you know that, like for example, the Wampa team, you know that everyone is going to be dying except for Wampa. That's the goal, because your Hermit Yoda is going to be stealth. So you have Master Training on Wampa, then Sabine dies, you can use Master Training and Wampa attacks again. Then you wait for Kenobi to die, then you use Master Training and Wampa attacks again. Thrawn dies. So it's more useful in PvE purposes than PvP. It can help in PvP, but again, you need somebody to die in order to make it useful, and that's where the problem is going to happen with that Zeta.
Yeah, because I have both of them, and like they're both really fun, and I love them in the raids because there's various characters or comps that you can substitute in for that Wampa team, or like if you're doing like a GK lead, you can end up switching out for Boba. Boba's really fun to manipulate that Master's Training and then give him his give him his special buffs back. You know what I mean? The Bounty Hunter's Resolve, yeah. And then like Pathfinder's another fun one in that team too. Like if you do like Boba, Pathfinder, Wampa, Sabine, and Hermit Yoda, Pathfinder just keeps popping back up, and Pathfinder's basic gives the team turn meter too as well. So if you get Master's Training on Pathfinder right away and he starts dying, and it creates this loop of spam. So it's fun.
Well, that sounds like something that Bimatsu would like, a loop of spam.
A loop of spam.
All right, next question.
Nathaniel Morgan, question for Finn. Will you play Looney Tunes Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes clone?
I saw that. I mean, probably not. I have my 2 mobile games. I have Galaxy of Heroes and I have Clash of Clans. I'm not going to play that. I saw what happened with Marvel Strike Force. People started going over there, and now most of them have come back. Like, I'm not going to bother. I don't need to waste time with another game that's just like the one that I've already progressed in for 3 years.
Yeah, same. Like I'm still playing Marvel Strike Force, but like for fun, like free to play, and it's just keeping me from doing negative things in Galaxy of Heroes.
The Looney Tunes one is actually pretty funny, and it's fun. You know, it takes a more what's the word I'm looking for? Tongue-in-cheek view on the Galaxy Heroes type. Like, I mean, you know, dropping anvils on people as a skill is freaking awesome. It's a good game. Funny. It's a really good game.
Mobile put out a video on it too. I mean, it looked kind of funny, but I mean, if you got more than one game you're playing already, then.
Nathaniel Morgan, question: can Grande be more excited? He is too mellow.
I'm always excited, right? I mean, when am I not excited? Even when, I mean, most of you people have even heard me in voice chats, even whenever we're not on a stream, and I get pretty freaking excited. It happens. It's just my thing.
Helenix, question for Ranger Fimok brings up a good point. Grande, when he was discussing the devs, is El Senior Grande, El Largo, Delio, Papi Petroni, El Migo, Del Bacon turning to the dark side?
I don't speak French. Go ahead, Grande.
Si.
Am I turning to the dark side? Look, I on this program, typically I have tried to bring a little bit of balance, right? As far as when we're talking about stuff and complaining about why did this happen and why did that not happen and why did this happen and why did that not happen, and try to give a possible explanation. I'm not saying it is the explanation. I'm just saying it's a possibility that's not the knee-jerk reaction that a lot of the players go to, which is they just want my money, or they're dumb and they're stupid, or they don't care, right? I'm trying to give you another possibility that's not one of those three knee-jerk reactions, because I can promise you they're not dumb and they're not stupid. They don't just want your money. There are other things at play, and they try really freaking hard. All the devs try really, really, really freaking hard. I mean, just go look at devs in other games and then come back to this one, right? And you will realize that you have been eating lobster for so long, it started to taste like soap. I mean, think about everything that's happening in freaking Battlefront 2, right? The most downvoted comment in all of Reddit was from a dev in Battlefront 2. That's pretty bad, man. That's pretty bad. And we're upset that we got a post about Clone Wars and we didn't get 3 reworks and we got 3 other new characters instead. Like, it's just
exactly. So enjoy your lobster devs and join your Portuguese Man of War guilds. Next question.
Julie, question: does Finn now know who puts pickles on Christmas trees?
I don't know where it's from. I think it's like a German tradition of some kind, but I have no idea who does it. No. It's something German related, but I don't know the background behind it. I would guess.
Sounds like it's about time for Around the World with RSG to figure that out.
God, I don't want
Helenix, question: should everyone in chat have Rutabaga on standby for those moments where folks bring up terminology like Trinity plus Ranger equals Finger J 1999?
Embrace the Finger J 1999. That's all I got to say. Next question.
Adam M, question: whose ship is better, Poe or Crew?
Poe, in my opinion.
Speedo kills, question: running Chimera, Anakin's Houndstooth, and Ghost. Phantom TIE, Advanced, Slave, and Lando's Falcon. What reinforcements would you change?
What were the reinforcements again? It was Phantom
TIE, Advanced, Slave, and Lando's Falcon.
I don't know if I would change anything. The only one maybe is if you wanted to replace Slave with Cassian, but I think your team is fine. Is there a reason you're trying to change? Because I think your lineup is solid. I'm pretty sure that's also Warriors WTF 2 lineup or something like that.
Matt Bailey, question: what do you guys think of the complete lack of upcoming events?
It means we're probably going to get a whole bunch of things coming in the next couple weeks.
It means enjoy the break while it lasts. Oh.
And that was the last question.
Hooray! We're only 25 minutes over time. Is Ranger on mute?
Sorry, I got distracted with the phone call. I'm back.
Oh, okay. Don't worry. We held down the fort.
I
We're
know.
done.
I was listening, but I was like trying to take care of like 2 or 3 things at once. So
Got it. See, this is the Finger J 1999 mental connection. That's the way it works.
all right. Sorry about that. Got your real life comes in. So I'm trying to do that. Dealing with this. I just got my Battlefront up, and I'm like, okay, I got too much shit going on in life. God. Where we at? What are we doing? What's up?
We're wrapping up.
Oh,
We
we're
finished
wrapping
all
up.
questions.
Oh, okay. Do we need to do the ACS stuff or?
Yeah, I'll do the ACS stuff really quick. So kind of simple today because we're well over time here. So please make sure that you check out the links in the description of the YouTube video.
I can
we have a
pull
link
up
to the
yeah, let me pull up the Tiltify.
Yeah, if you want to pull it up. So we have the Tiltify page, which Ranger is pulling up right now. And so it has a bunch of rewards and polls and challenges that you guys can donate. The money goes to the American Cancer Society, which we're trying to raise $15,000 for. And if you guys go there, you can have some fun. You can buy the RSG official Stu Strong wristbands that is up there, so you can donate to the ACS, and we will send you one of those. We have other rewards. You have some PC games that have been donated by Sanely Red. Mm-hmm. We have some polls where you can decide who's going to get the different Zetas. You have the challenges in order to get Warrior to put a Zeta. We have a challenge for Tits to change her in-game name to Tismeg Voltron. So that is still available for people to donate to. We have Grande wearing the CG Carry Pool Boy shirt. We have me wearing a wig. We have all kinds of things. I have also a host of things that I'm about to add as well. Some things will also be activated during the stream itself. So we have a special stream on December 15th. It's going to be our 12-hour stream. And I'll let you guys know right now, one of the things that will be active only during the time of the campaign, we will be doing D&D during that day. And during that time, we will have a reward up where you can donate, and as you donate through the rewards, Ranger will place an NPC for us to fight. So you can donate and potentially add a goblin or something like that into our game.
Dragon.
And so you can help to kill us. Dragon will be up there as well.
Lich.
So we'll come up with a whole bunch of things. They'll have different values, so you can actually donate in order to help us get do the D&D campaign and potentially see us all die. In particular, I would say Grim is the first to go. But
yeah, I would like to say that God bless you, Rose Tico. Finn will be doing the Zeta on Rose Taco, so
it looks like it. So just to let you know, it looks like Rose Tico is going to be my Zeta unless somebody saves me with Clone Wars Chewie. But in preparation for that, I will on the stream, if Rose Tico wins, I will 7-star Rose Tico, I will Gear 11 Rose Tico, and Zeta Rose Tico on the stream. I'm preparing all of that, and it's killing me a little inside just talking about it.
Yeah, it's happening. It's
freaking.
Unless
I guess there's no Finn that can escape Rose, no matter what.
And on Warriors poll, it looks like Bodhi's taking the lead. You know that Warriors given a Zeta challenge as well, so that he will he will.
We need to fill that challenge though in order to make him do it.
Well, yeah, so we got to get it filled. But I'm sure on the 15th, I mean, you can start and get involved now and stuff. And remember, guys, any kind of donation you make, whether to these challenges or just in general, you qualify for that amazing lightsaber, Mary Jade lightsaber that we showed last week on the probably need to put that up there somehow, Finn.
Yeah, I know. I'm working on all the videos to show all the different things. We also have a bunch of stuff given to us by the ACS to donate. So there's some ACS, there's a ACS gym bag, there's like a water bottle. I mean, we have all kinds of things. So I'm putting together all of that this weekend, and hopefully in like one video that will show you all the different things, including the lightsaber that will be given away once we hit that 15,000 mark. And any dollar that you donate counts towards an entry towards that lightsaber.
Yeah, we're already well over 10% of our goal toward where we need to be at. So thank you for everybody that's donated already. So we're going to crush this. I can't wait to do the stream on the 15th. We're going to go 12 hours like we always do. And then if we're to have some stuff, we'll do some more streaming the next day. So it's going to be a lot of fun Saturday, Sunday, the 15th and 16th. We're looking forward to doing that. We're going to have a lot of great stuff and prizes for you guys, playing a ton of games, doing all kinds of fun stuff, lots of great guests, just like we did for the suicide prevention. But this is for a great cause. We're helping helping out Stu, and we're just helping to fight the battle for cancer. And we've all been touched by it. We've all been affected by it. So if you haven't checked out this page, please do. Some great stuff, and we're going to be adding even more great stuff for you guys. So check it out. Definitely, if you want to participate and know more about it, get with me or Finn, and we can get you squared away. So I think that covers everything, right, Dr. Finn? Think we're good?
Yep.
Okay. So on behalf of myself and the RSG crew, Grandi got quiet. Did we get him his crayons? Okay, good.
I'm back. I'm sorry. I had a little. Anyway.
That's all right, Grandi.
I had to go run meet two guys.
Yeah, just if you can just color within the lines this time, you'll be all right, buddy. Here's a red one. But thank you guys for stopping by. We really appreciate everybody's support. So on behalf of myself, the crew, thank you guys. And Battlefront, I'm going to do here about 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern. I'm trying to get some stuff squared away, and then I'm going to set up the event here real quick. And if you'd like to join me in Battlefront, you can. I'm going to be doing Geonosis, try to get the new heroes, but I'm not going to worry about it. I already purchased all the new clone armor and Kenobi, so he's in there. So I'm going to just do as much battles on Geonosis as possible and have fun with it. So everyone have a great rest of your day, and we will holler at you later. Peace.